here. Today I'm going to be taking a walk down memory lane and sharing with you some of my favorite Noob vs Pro moments. If you don't know, Noob vs Pro is a build battle I do at Shado every Friday, where we have 30 minutes to build something and see who did a better job. We usually pick themes from the comment section, or Shado and I think of something that we should do together. There's always a twist with a challenge item to make the build a little bit harder, but let's take a look at some of my favorite moments. The first clip we're gonna look at is the most challenging build. This one was the absolute hardest for me. Of course, I'm talking about the fairy house. This one was rough. The idea was that we were supposed to build a house for an allay, which is kind of like a fairy. So a house that would attract an allay was the goal, and let's see why it was so challenging. My original vision was a mushroom house because I feel like mushrooms are kind of magical, and a magical mushroom house would probably be where a fairy would live. I don't... Explanations don't really matter here. I went way too big. That was my mistake from the get-go. That's way too big. Oh my gosh.
What have I done?
I have already... Uh-oh. Shado,
Shado, what?
I feel like I am realizing how big of a build I'm doing, and there's no way to turn back. My area was really covered with trees, and I didn't really have a good clearing to put a mushroom house, but there was a little ravine that I liked. So I thought it would be cool if the mushroom was like growing out of the ravine, and it was this really big mushroom that overlooked like this dark magical forest. That was my first mistake. Did I know that this was gonna be the hardest build I would have done starting off? No, I didn't. The roof, just thinking about the roof was, I literally cannot compute how hard it was.
I'm in danger.
It's already been done.
I wish you the best of luck then with the now 14 minutes we got left.
Okay, bye. So I didn't anticipate how big the mushroom needed to be, let alone working with mushroom blocks in particular, because you know, the moment you break one off, it shows the outside of it or the inside gooey mushroom bits. So every time I misplaced or brud, because you know I do that all the time, I had to fix up my mistakes, and it was rough. I think I begged Shado for a couple extra minutes on this one. I don't know if he ended up giving it to me. This one was really rough, probably almost brought me to tears, low-key behind the scenes. For Shado, he went with a really interesting build here. He thought it would be cool to attract the allays with music because that's how you get allays to come to you. Well, he built this really cool, whimsical music area with like little nests for his allays, which I thought was a really cool idea. He spent most of his time on his music contraption. I wanted to have music in mind, and I think I just ended up having a little jukebox, and I wasn't able to like rig a whole system where it continuously made music because I spent so much time building this obscure mushroom structure. Just thinking about that mushroom build literally makes me want to cry. I hated doing it so much. If you asked me to do it again, I would say absolutely not. Definitely my most challenging build to date. For our next clip, let's take a look at my favorite build from Shado. Shado is notorious for secret bases. He builds a train car to some far off secret base in almost every single build we can think of, except for this one, which happens to be my favorite build from Shado, which is his taco truck. So the theme of this video, we were supposed to build a food truck of whatever variety we wanted. I decided to go with a dessert truck, which is just your standard normal food truck, But no, Shado, he went all out. He literally built a taco food truck. Like his truck was the food, which I thought was such a fun, unique idea. And I just wish I was that creative. I think I even said in the video, don't even vote in this one. I know Shado won. Here, how about we listen to that?
Let us know in the comments who you think did the best this time. Was it my giant taco truck of taco? Or was it the sweet treats? The sweets and treats, little cute little food truck time.
Yeah, honestly, Shado, I really like yours, so I'm voting for you. I think you won this for sure. So don't even tell me in the comments. I don't even want to know. I know Shado won. Okay, I need to know, what do you think is Shado's best build? Your favorite build that he ever did? Let me know in the comments down below. Now, let's take a look at what I deem as my easiest build, which probably is the space station. I don't know what it was about this particular build that made it so easy for me, but the moment we said we were gonna build in the end and pretend it was space, I knew that I wanted to do like a moon base dome situation, and I just knew exactly what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go with it. The challenge item for this video was water, if I remember right, because water would be weird in space and we wanted to think of something that would make it a little bit harder. I ended up doing an entire fish tank area, which I absolutely love building fish tanks. Shado, he took a different approach, which was a dolphin space station, which was really silly and a lot of fun.
So this is how they get from Earth to space. They take their water chute up all the way up into the space station.
So all waterfalls are just transitional thingies for dolphins.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Anytime you see a waterfall, it's actually secretly a teleporter for dolphins.
But for me, this challenge was just so easy. I loved that we had different islands, and so I immediately thought that it would be cool if we were able to like use all of those islands. And I think I remember being way ahead of Shado in this video. When we were recording, I was like, Shado, I'm basically done, when we had 10 minutes left. So I decided to use those little islands as landing platforms. So you can go all the way up to the top of my base, and then to get down, you essentially just jump onto a pile of slime, which I felt made you kind of jump up and down like you would if you were in space. So I thought that would be fun to add to all of the other little islands. I spent a lot of my time decorating with this base because I had so much extra time. I think I put outdoor tables, I put, you name it, it had it. This moon base was a lot of fun, and definitely the easiest build, hands down, that I had to do. While the space station was my easiest build, I think we should start looking at what is challenging. So we introduced challenge items in our very first Noobverse Pro video. We thought it would be fun to make things a little bit more difficult with a challenge item where we have to incorporate X thing in the build somehow. Shado and I usually come up with this idea with what is the antithesis or the opposite of whatever theme we're doing. So this could be something as simple as we're doing an underwater build, so we have to incorporate lava.
Boiling lake of lava.
Or we're going into space, so we have to incorporate water. Something that seems like it would be really hard and possibly impossible to add to the build. But with all the challenge items that we've done throughout the episodes, which one is my favorite? Can you take a guess based on the video on the screen? Yep, you've guessed it, it's honey! So for this episode, we had to build a castle, and we thought it would be really weird if we had to include a sticky honey block somehow. I loved the idea to do honey spires. I wanted to do that from the very beginning. The moment we thought of honey as the block, I was like, honey spires, that's what we're doing. Shado, he decided to do honey as the windows because he wanted a stained glass look for his castle, which I thought was really cool. For the spires though, I don't know, there's just something about this castle build that I just absolutely adored. We've never really used honey before as a challenge item, so having to do something that was unique with this item, I thought would be fun for the spires, especially since they're kind of see-through. So it allowed light to come into the castle without having to place down a bunch of lanterns everywhere, which I thought was a really cool effect. When it comes to challenge items, we definitely reuse some of them more than others. Like we've seen lava a lot, as well as water. If you have any suggestions for challenge items that you would love to see, let me know in the comments down below, because we definitely want to include some fun, interesting blocks as a challenge, but sometimes it's just really easy to go with lava. Speaking of lava, let's talk about the build that I had the most fun doing, which would have to be our obstacle course build. Let's take a look at how I decided to terrorize Shado for 30 seconds. For this build challenge, we had to come up with an obstacle course that the other player had to try and get through. Now, this was a ton of fun to come up with something and be totally creative on how to make Shado get through something super weird and difficult without killing him. Well, maybe kind of killing him several times. But you know, that's besides the point. It was a ton of fun to come up with something obscure and obstacle-y. Woo! I really wanted mine to be colorful and pretty and have a theme to it, where Shado, I died more times than I'm willing to admit, and I'm sure you're gonna see a compilation of me dying a bunch right here. Yeah.
But also don't jump on the bottom side. You need to let it bounce you.
Okay, you get the point. Shado made me die a lot. Okay, maybe this one is Shado terrorizing me. Okay, literally, anyways, it doesn't matter. I had a lot of fun with this build. It was actually really challenging coming up with different ways to not kill Shado, different ways to obstaculate. Is that a word? To form obstacles, obstacleize, to make obstacles, different ways to make obstacles for Shado to get through. It was really cool to use lava in a different way. I wanted to use spider webs. I wanted there to be some big finale, but I ended up running out of time. So it's just a go-kart or a cart to a rainbow. You did it! And yeah, that was my big finale. I was looking to do something much more grand, but literally spent all of my time with obstacles. The cactus, the spacing of that took a while, and I wanted to do more obstacles than I actually had. But I think Shado and I each had about 3 obstacles for each one. It was a ton of fun to just go through each other's thing versus just looking at it. I really liked that extra element of having to do the thing that the other person built. Yeah, perfect!
I didn't think about the fact that it blew up the wall.
Yay!
Woo!
And there you have it, my top 5 favorite moments from the NOOB Pro series. Let me know what your top 5 moments are, whether that's a build that I did or something that Shado did. Let me know in the comments down below. This series is a ton of fun, and I really hope you enjoyed this walk down memory lane. If you haven't seen the videos that I referenced, I'm going to be putting a link in the description to each and every one of those videos. So take a look at them and let me know if they're maybe your top favorite moments. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you next time. Bye!